Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Pitch Talk.
We are fans of football dropping vlogs, blogs, videos and podcasts on the beautiful game.
Check out our videos on YouTube and Instagram's IGTV,
including special feature segments, vlogs such as
5 Minutes with the G,
the Straight Shootin View,
Coaching with JBK,
audio on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Podomatic, Spotify,
Mixcloud
and other podcast platforms.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution on Twitter, Instagram,
Facebook
and our official website www.pitch-talk.com.
The pitch is where we eat,
the pitch is where we sleep,
and the pitch is where we talk.
I can see you now. I can see you now and then. I can see you now.
Welcome to
the Straight Shootin View.
What is up, people? My name is Straight Shootin LJ, and welcome to another episode of the Straight Shootin View. Now, few things to discuss in this episode. There's been a lot happening in the world recently, and a lot of it not positive. And I'm going to start with the Russia-Ukraine issue. Now, I'm not going to get political on this. I am going to stick purely to football with this issue. And one of the things that has kind of really started percolating again is the fit and proper persons test, or the owners and directors test, as it's now called in the Premier League. Because Roman Abramovic, the recent news is that he is selling up. Now, apparently he's going to donate the net proceeds of any sale of Chelsea Football Club to charities, not just Ukraine, but charities. So, okay, cool. And apparently he's waived the £1.5 billion worth of debt that Chelsea had accrued or, well, owed him in loans. Which, you know what? Chelsea fans must be breathing a sigh of relief at that. Because if Abramovich had called in those debts, Chelsea would have been majorly screwed. Let's put it that way. But Abramovich is looking for $4 billion for the club. So we'll see who steps in and buys it. There's already been the rumours of Colin McGregor. I think he threw his hat in the ring on Twitter and Chelsea laughed it off. Yeah, beggars can't be choosers. I wouldn't be laughing off offers, especially when Conor McGregor is actually worth about £2 billion on his own and could probably put a nice little consortium together. But leaving that aside, I'm going to stick with the owners and directors test at first, because the Premier League, and I'm sorry, but I find this funny, the Premier League are finally reviewing it. So Newcastle being taken over by a Saudi consortium led by Amanda Staveley, more on her later, and it's all them ones who have connections with the Saudi state, no matter how much they want to deny it, and look at the appalling, abysmal human rights record of Saudi Arabia and the Saudi state. And yeah, it takes Roman Abramovich with his links to Vladimir Putin, who is a very serious issue as well, with Vladimir Putin currently invading in his Russian troops invading Ukraine, and football basically closing ranks and showing some scruples and showing some balls. More on that later as well. And it's like, yeah, so the Premier League finally reviewing the owners and directors test. It's a bit late, Richard Masters. It's a little bit late. You've already let Richard Masters, Richard Scudamore, you've already let a lot of these scumbags into the game. Look at the Glazers strip mining Manchester United, as I've said. Look at Gillette and Hicks, who were let into the English game and strip mined Liverpool and almost put us out of existence. We almost became property of RBS. And you look at the Saudi owners that have recently taken over at Newcastle. You look at Abramovich taking over Chelsea and how he made his fortune through exploitation of the fall of the USSR. Alisher Usmanov and his links to Vladimir Putin as well. But you let these people into the game. And now, only because of, in my view, this increased scrutiny, are they finally looking at the owners and directors test. Massimo Cellino, two-time convicted fraudster, was running Leeds for a while. Carson Yeung, Thaksin Shinawatra. Thaksin Shinawatra was done on, what's it, indicted back to Thailand, in Thailand, on corruption charges. Carson Yeung, money laundering charges. But these guys have all been in the game. They've all been in, out, made their money, done. So it's like, it's a bit late for you to be reviewing this crap. And it's funny that it basically took one country invading another and that country having links with a couple of owners to actually get the Premier League to pull their finger out of their collective arses and actually do something. That's frustrating to me. It really is. But you know what, yeah? As I mentioned earlier about Amanda Staveley, it's quite funny and interesting that Amanda Staveley has come out and said, oh, it's a little bit unfair that Roman Abramovic is being punished for his links to Putin. Yeah, all right, Amanda. The only reason you're saying that, you're not saying it because you believe it. You're saying it because you know that in terms of scrutiny and heads being on the chopping block, if Abramovich goes, you and your Saudi clique right there ain't got a chance in hell of staying at Newcastle. And you're already fighting legal challenges worth about, what, 10 million quid anyway in regards to that. So, yeah, I see what you're doing, Amanda Staveley. I see what you're doing. Don't try and like, oh, poor little Roman. Oh, if he gets away with it, we might get away with it too. No. Don't even try that. But you know what, yeah, football and scruples. I've always said that UEFA, FIFA, just the powers that be in general, lack scruples. And you might want to cast your mind back to almost a year ago now. Almost a year ago as I record this. Is one of them ones where the European Super League. Remember how pissed off UEFA were? Because a day before, on the Monday, they were going to announce changes to the Champions League format. More on that in a bit. They announced those changes. They were going to announce those changes, but the Super League beat them to the punch and they were fuming about it. So it's kind of funny that now in early March of 2022, after what failed in April of 2021, April is one of them ones where they've now, with everybody's focus being on Ukraine and Russia, now UEFA have announced this. UEFA confirm new Champions League format from 2024-2025. 36 teams, up from 32. One big league table. Each team plays 10 games in the first phase, 5 home and 5 away. There are 100 additional games. The top 8 sides in the league phase will qualify automatically for the knockout stage. Yeah, but the teams finishing in 9th to 24th place in this big 36 team league will compete in a 2-legged playoff to secure their path to the last 16. So much of this is wrong. Number one, the timing. You notice, as said, UEFA, whilst everybody is concerned with Russia invading Ukraine, UEFA slide this in. Oh, we're going to start this in 2024, 2025. But don't worry about this. Look at what's happening over there. Look at what's happening over there. Look at the pretty monkey. It's like, don't worry about over here. Look at what's happening over there. Well done, UEFA. Congratulations on your timing. I was congratulating you earlier for having a bit of scruples by suspending Russian teams from your competitions to try and obviously hurt the Putin regime. But you got people like at FIFA as well, Gianni Infantino, staying silent. I haven't heard anything from Alexander Seferin either. Yeah, I wonder why. Platini, an enabler, a clear enabler for Putin's regime in term, and it's one of them ones where it's like FIFA and UEFA have done so much enabling for them to now dial back and ban Russian teams. It's like, okay, cool. So Zenit St. Petersburg, their fans coming out, as we mentioned in 2014, we're going to put Pitch Talk live show where Zenit fans had their racist elite team dream, where they didn't want black players on their team. FIFA and UEFA didn't say nothing about that. But it's one of them was Platini wants to come out and shoot his mouth off about Putin. It's like, dude, you've helped him out. So, nah, bruh. Sorry. It doesn't quite wash with me. But it is one of them ones where it's like, UEFA sneaking through this Champions League change. First and foremost, their timing is abysmal. Second of all, I think it's done deliberately. Third of all, 100 extra games. Where and how are you fitting them in the footballing calendar? Because you've already got the boondoggle that is the UEFA Nations League, which is a circus in and of itself. So how are you fitting in 100 extra games in the Champions League? I'd like to know this. Seferin, you got an answer for me? I'd like to know. But also, it's like the teams, it's like the top 8 sides qualifying automatically from the 4D knockout stage. What's this? The Pro Evolution? What is this? The Pro Evolution Soccer Master League? Is that what the Champions League is now? Just a game? It's a joke. It's a circus. Because the Champions League doesn't need any more additional teams in it. You need to reduce some of the bigger nations if you really want to give smaller nations a shot. So increasing it to 36 teams and doing this league format, it's like, no, what are you doing? You're creating extra games, extra headaches, and then the cluster of the teams 9th to 24th in a playoff round. It's like, no, what are you playing at? And for me, it was one of them ones where it's like, UEFA doing this shows that football will not change. And the Premier League only reviewing the owners and directors test, it shows that even with Abramovic and Usmanov and their links to Putin and what Vladimir Putin is doing right now, it really does show to me that football will not change. A leopard can't change its spots. And football, unless you stop the game completely, as I've said before, destroy and rebuild. Stop the game completely and weed all these pieces of crap out of it. That's the only way you do it, and you do it successfully. Otherwise, you're just building on the same corrupt foundations. And it's one of them ones, it's like Apocalypse said in the X-Men animated series. It's like it's like you can get rid, you can cleanse the old world, but you're just building an imperfect, corrupt world on top. That's all you're really doing. It's one of them ones that are evil. I mentioned Apocalypse, it's like evil. You get rid of it, but it's always there in some form or another. So as much as you may get rid of one billionaire oligarch from Chelsea, they're going to let someone of the same caliber in. They really are. Look at Newcastle with with Mike Ashley. Look at, I mean, it's one of them ones. Look at his employment practices at Buddy Sports Direct. Retail working 0 hour. What? No. That's a disgrace. But then you get him out and then you let the Saudis in. You're letting someone even worse in terms of human rights violations. You've literally gone from bad to worse. It really chastens me that football will clearly not change from this. It'd be one of them ones where there'll be a lot of lip service, there'll be a lot of little minor things, but in terms of what needs to change, not letting corrupt individuals, not letting sketchy individuals with sketchy human rights records into the game, that's not going to change, because guess what? In the words of Rick James, money talks. Money talks. Bullshit walks. And the Premier League, FIFA, UEFA, you are bullshit and you need to walk. You need to walk the walk and talk that talk. But here's what it is, man. I mean, I want to know your views. The Russian invasion of Ukraine and the fallout from it, with guys like Usmanov, Abramovich being penalized, being blocked from sponsorships of certain clubs like Everton's Finch Farm, their sponsorship. They've basically suspended and removed Alisher Usmanov's USM company from that. And also Chelsea, Abramovich looking to sell up as he looks to basically cut and run, in my opinion. It's one of them ones. Is this going to change football, or is this just one of them where in 6 months' time there's going to be nothing, there's going to be no difference? The owners and directors test, will that change? Will there still be massive loopholes in it that allow people with horrible human rights records to get into the game and run clubs still? I want to know your views. www.pitch-talk.com is our official website. Let us know your views. You can find our podcasts up there as well. pitch-talk.com/podcast. You can find our podcasts there, such as the Straight Shootin View, 5 Minutes with the G, Coaching with JBK, and much, much more. YouTube.com/pitch talk is where you can find our videos and special feature segments and much, much more. Our podcast is on our website as well as verbal, VURBL.com. We are verbal ambassadors and proud of it. At GetVerbal on Twitter. Tweet them and let them know we sent you. We're also on Podomatic, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, as well as Amazon Music and many, many other places too, where you can find our podcast. Also at Pitch Talk on Twitter. Tweet with us, follow us, see what we are up to. Facebook.com/Pitch Talk. Become a fan, become a friend, become a member of the group. Join the footballing revolution we are working so hard to create. At Pitch Talk on Twitter. Tweet with us, follow us, see what we're up to. Instagram at Pitch Talk as well. We're also at Pitch Talk on Reddit. On Instagram, you will find vlog previews and much, much more up there too. I have been Straight Shootin LJA, and until next time, I will see you later on the Straight Shootin. Take it easy, peeps.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution.
Check out the official Pitch Talk website.
www.pitch-talk.com